Noodles, you got some of that green drink for Zach Hyman? You think it would help or what?
I do. I've got the drink. I got to rub it on, but I was thinking about it. Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where I think the maestro gave Kramer the bomb to put on his burn, and then Jackie Childs is like, "Why'd you put the bomb on the burn? Why'd you put the bomb on the burn?"
Nobody told you to put the bomb on the burn.
So maybe some bomb. I don't know if it's wrist, shoulder. It did not look good. I mean, watching it live, you could hear through the TV mics him actually like scream, which, concerning because players know right away when something's not right. And the fact that he went down the tunnel. Now, I'm hoping that it was precautionary. Again, in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking maybe it was a shoulder or hyperextended an elbow or something, but that also looked bad from a perspective, maybe a broken wrist. So again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to, sit here and guess. But this is why they do say upper body to lower body, because if you know exactly where the injury is, you could just go slash it like Evan Bouchard did, which I thought it was brilliant. I was laughing so hard because I actually predicted it on my show yesterday. I said, "Do you think that anybody is going to give Hintz a little whack on the skate laces?" And I said, it's probably Corey Perry will do it.
Yes.
Evander Kane. I did not have on my bingo card Evan Bouchard doing it, so I thought that was pretty funny.
You know what? That's I'm glad, because I said this morning, when I saw it, the first thing I did was laugh. Like I thought we went from Ekblad tapping Bouchard out in the playoffs last year to Bouchard of all people being the guy giving Hintz a shot. Even Rupe Hintz must have been like, "Who the hell are you all of a sudden? Like, where did this come from?" Like that was crazy. Yeah. That was, good for Bouch, who's had a pretty steady playoff. Jamie McLennan is with us on the show this morning, brought to you by Pro On Sports. If you're watching on YouTube, please sub to the channel. Noodles, I mean, there's a lot of different places we can go here, but let's just go back around to the goaltending quickly. Stuart Skinner, another, as steady as she goes game. I think I saw you on your TSN hit last night talk about the number of high danger looks that the Dallas Stars did have. What did you think of Skinner's performance as he continues to be the greatest Game 4 goaltender in NHL history somehow?
I got to be honest, that might have been his best performance of the playoffs. And the reason being, you can argue on other starts, but Dallas had a push. They looked very desperate early on. And you're right. I talked about high danger chances. The ending, Dallas had 22 high danger chances yesterday to Edmonton's 11. I mean, sometimes, and I watched Draisaitl's media afterwards, and he said, Dallas is a very good team. There is going to be pockets of the game where we have to try and batten down the hatches. And I think when you look at Stuart Skinner, his confidence has grown. He's been very, very aggressive, and I like that. The one thing I've noticed from a technical standpoint is he's fighting through screens, where before he just kind of would sit there, go down and throw up his arms. Now you can see him actually fighting for pucks, fighting to find the puck from the point. And, he looks really confident, really comfortable in the net. And the team is, yes, they gave up 22 high danger chances, but there's still that desperation defensively from the group, battling back, working back into the middle of the ice, trying to force everything outside. So to me, I think Stuart Skinner has been rock solid. I think he's been one of the best stories of the playoffs, considering where he was, call it a month ago, 5 weeks ago. I mean, you guys know it. You deal with it every day, how loud that market can be, especially with a guy who's that polarizing. But he's been unbelievable, and I'm happy for him because he's getting his flowers right now, where a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, it was not looking good for him.
And Noodles, another player that's really, come to shine in this series in particular is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and a guy that, during the regular season will come in here some cold mornings and people will say, where's he been? And he'll go on spurts of disappearance. A Swiss Army knife being described as by a lot of his teammates. He has a career best playoff point streak, 4 games now, 9 points. I think they're all the assists, all primary assists.
Yeah, I think it's all primary assists in this series.
Third straight multi-point game. What are you seeing? Is it the Stars and how they set up? Is it just Nuge, taking things on his back right now for some strange reason? What are you seeing from his game, or maybe even from the Stars game, that's allowing him to kind of put up the points and the production that he's doing, namely in this series?
So he's executing some of these like perfect little plays. And I'll give you an example. I don't know how you guys were watching the game yesterday, but he gets the puck in the slot and everybody I was watching the game with goes, shoot. And that was on, and I'm thinking, okay, of course he's in a prime scoring opportunity. He's going to shoot that. Instead, he fires it to the guy on the goal line who scores, and that's Draisaitl. And we're all yelling, shoot. And then we go, oh, okay, now we see what he saw. So even a beautiful play by him on the second primary pass to Perry on the power play. If he tries to force feed that, CC blocks it. Instead, he changes the angle, creates a little deception, slides it through the stick. And Perry, all he has to do is put his stick there and it actually bounces off his stick and goes in the net. So, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, my biggest complaint about him throughout his career is he never plays in fifth gear. He always plays in fourth gear. You never see him overly fast, overly aggressive. What he does, though, is he thinks the game very well. I relate him to a guy like Sam Reinhart. They just think the game. They're always in the right spot. They know what's going to happen before it happens, and they try and put themselves in those situations, and they don't get overwhelmed by it. Because I'll be honest, if I got the puck in the slot, you want to turn and fire because you're like, hey, this is a prime scoring opportunity. But I've got the foresight to go, hey, you know what? Draisaitl's got a lane here. He's in a one-timer position. I can create a little bit of deception here because everybody in the building, including the goaltender, thought he was going to shoot that. So to me, it's his mind. It's his IQ. And when it's firing on all cylinders, confidence-wise and that, this is what it looks like. Even you go back to the previous game, he takes a look. When he sends Hyman in on that breakaway, he actually sees Hyman stretch to the far blue line. Now it's a bouncing puck, but he's able to take a kind of a half slap shot to get it to him to the far blue line and send him in. It's just a brilliant play. Like, to me, he's seeing the game and slowing it down. And he's at the top of his game right now. And they need him. Let's be honest. With a potential injury to Hyman that did not look good. Connor Brown's on the shelf. They're starting to get a little thinner, although they do have depth there. But they need a guy like RNH to continue to contribute.
Jamie McLennan with us on the show from TSN and Overdrive. When you look at Dallas so far, and, offensively, they've got nothing in the last 3 games. So where are their stars? Like, do we hang it on them not fighting through enough and not burying the chances they're getting, or do we just have to give credit to the Oilers' team defense and then Skinner when called upon?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both because, Peter DeBoer pointed this out and we can't ignore it. They had 39 shot attempts in the first period yesterday, 15 missed nets. If they hit the net on a few of them or even hit the goaltender on a few of them, now all of a sudden you've got some rebounds and some havoc. So maybe they're trying to have the perfect shot instead of just having a shot or several shots. So I look at it, I think it's both, where I think their top tier players are a little bit snake bitten, but they are getting looks, as I pointed to the 22 high danger chances, but the Oilers D and the goaltender are doing a job. So it's hand in hand. Now the job's not finished.
No.
And Dallas is they're a great team and they're very tough in their own building. So Edmonton's got to go in there and have their best game, on Thursday, tomorrow, I guess. I get my days mixed up, but tomorrow they got to go in and have their best game because you don't want to give them any life. Because, Peter DeBoer goes, listen, we got to win our home games and win one road game. Well, that's the truth. But the Edmonton Oilers got 3 cracks to finish it. You don't want to give them any life. You got an opportunity here. And like Leon Draisaitl said, you win a game and you're going to the Stanley Cup final. That's the carrot. That there should be no more motivation than that. Going, you win one game, you're going to the Stanley Cup final to try and win a cup. That should be your motivation. So they should be all in tomorrow.
Noodles, one more on this series, and we'll take a quick look at the other series, which could wrap tonight. We mentioned Hyman right off the top, and we're not expecting to get good news from Knobloch this morning. He's obviously become an extremely important player for this team, even more so in the playoffs in the regular season.
19 hits away, was it?
Yeah, he was 19 hits away from the all-time record and had 2 hits in 3 minutes last night before he goes out. So the question, I mean, a lot of people, we've already been talking about it. Is this your window to go 11-7 and get Ekholm in, or do you put Jeff Skinner back into the lineup?
No, I think it's an opportunity in a, I wouldn't say one game take all, but I'm treating it like that to dress 7D, to get Ekholm some time, a regular shift, and see how he goes. That way you're not taking out Stetcher. You're still giving everybody an opportunity. Knobloch even pointed to it that Draisaitl had played just over 11 minutes heading into the third period yesterday. So he actually told him between the second and third, like, buckle up, I'm going to double shift you. I think it's an opportunity here to find some extra ice time for some guys up front that either deserve it or can handle it. So yes, Jeff Skinner, it'd be nice to go 12-6 and have Jeff Skinner. We've seen guys, the depth come in and produce, but I also think it's an opportunity to kind of bleed Ekholm into the lineup in an 11-7 scenario. You don't have last change on the road, but he can handle any type of matchup. But I think that's probably where they should head, given that the forwards can handle the extra ice time, and then you have 7D and you're not messing with the mojo on the back end that they have going. Because Stetcher's played very well, and I think he deserves to stay in. But let's be honest, it's Ekholm, and you have to get him up to speed as quick as possible, because if you can get through this round, you're going to need him in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, and going out east, Noodles, always a wordsmith, Paul Maurice. Sometimes you say a prayer, sometimes you shotgun a beer. That's kind of like our team as he was at the podium the other night. Great drop. But they finished this off tonight, right? Like, are the Hurricanes, do you have any, winning a game is winning a game. We talk about this series as well. You could see the Stars winning another, but maybe not three. Is this where it ends tonight for the Canes, or a little more life down in Raleighwood, as they call it?
I want to say, I would think Florida would finish them off, but let's not forget Carolina. I thought they played very well last game. It was a low event game.
Yeah.
But they tried to beat Florida at their own game. And that's a very high pressure. That's a forecheck. And Freddie Anderson played well. I could see Carolina getting one more, just in their own building. The building will be rocking. It is a tough building to play in. And, law of averages, you would think that Carolina should win at least one home game here one of these days. And, given that they broke that massive streak, what was it, 19 games they've gone, in the conference final in losing. So I think that Carolina can get one more game, but I do think it's going to be Florida that gets through. And if you're an Oilers fan or a Stars fan or just a fan of hockey, you want it to go a little bit longer based on it's another opportunity for top players to get tired, or maybe something happens in Florida, that type of stuff. You never wish on injuries, but you have seen Florida is a little bit of walking wounded now, with Sam Reinhart is maybe a question mark. Mikkola didn't play last game. So I'm looking at it, and same thing with the Edmonton Oilers. Longer these series goes, you see guys dropping. So, but I do believe that Carolina will get one more, but what do I know? I've been wrong on everything this year in the playoffs. So, watch Florida win 6-1 and just mow through them tonight. Who knows?
You're still waiting on your Tampa Bay, Colorado Stanley Cup final.
Oh, hey? No, I had Tampa, Winnipeg. That's what I chose.
That's not far off.
I felt good about it, and then it was not the best. Put it that way. It was Yari Gronstrand. Not the best. It's Louis Domingue. Not the best. Spicy pork. That's what he said in the playoffs. Remember that? Where he had to go in overtime, and he ate that Chinese food, and they asked him afterwards. He's like, not the best. Not the best. So,
Noodles, good stuff, buddy. We'll catch up next week.
Shout out to St. Albert Pond Hockey. These are my friends at the stores. Yeah, they sent me the hat the other day.
Noticed that, actually. We had a guy notice he called you out.
I didn't even notice it. Yeah.
Well, I grew up with a guy named David Ritt who owns the source in St. Albert. So him and his son Cole sent me this hat. I think it's like a giant hockey tournament. I got to Google it, but it's an amazing hat. So I was going to give them some love.
That's a nice looking lid. I like that. Excellent, man. Good stuff. We'll check in next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Jamie McLennan. He's from here originally.
He wants to stick around so much.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Every time he leaves, it's like, well,
damn it.
Sure.
Thought today was going to be that hour.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup Finals, Noodles. Stanley Cup Final will keep you for an hour.